There we go. Hi, everyone who's joining.
Thanks for hosting, Katie.
You got it, Danny. I'm actually going to launch our poll. Let's see.
All right. Thanks, Katie, for launching the poll. Okay, everyone. So for those of you who've joined on time or even like a minute early, thank you. My name is Patrick. I'm on the NetGym team, and along with the great panel, I'm going to be helping us run through today's presentation. So hopefully everybody can see this, but we've got a Zoom poll that we're sharing right now to get us started, and we'd love your quick feedback. It's just one question. There's no other question after this one. If you can't see it, but you have the chat available to you, please drop it in the chat and let us know. If anybody's having any audio or video issues, let us know in the chat. But I think from my end, everything looks like it's working well.
All right, I think we'll let this run for maybe 30 more seconds. If you haven't put your answer in yet, please do so now. It looks like we have about 30% participation so far.
Thanks, Katie. All right, and just while everyone's here on time, thank you for being here on time. I know we're 1 minute past the start. We'll give people 1 more minute to join, and then we'll jump right in.
All right, 10 more seconds. Some interesting results coming in. All right, I am going to share these results. So it looks like we have a lot of people struggling with client communication and follow-ups. Not a surprise. I'm happy that I will be personally telling you all about that piece. Interestingly, nobody mentioned payroll. And honestly, I think that's because you don't even know what you don't know yet. I think there's going to be a ton of really great information and tips that you'll get today. And you'll be able to learn more about how to operationalize your process. So let's jump in.
Great, thanks, Katie. Okay, so you all know this because you signed up, but just to recap really quickly and ground us, I'm sure you've just bounced from something really important, another meeting, you've been in the studio, you're at home trying to get through finances. Today's topic is run your studio like a pro. And it came about because the 4 companies whose logos you can see down there, I'm going to do a proper intro in a moment, we all talked about how valuable your time is and you don't have time to waste. So rather than running you through 4 separate webinars about ideas that we have on how to help you run your studio like a pro, we said, let's come together and let's do it in one 1-hour sitting. The worst thing we could do to save you time is to make you sit through 4 hours of webinars. So here's 1 hour where we're going to take you through what we think are best practices in 4 different areas of your business. Okay, quick agenda for you all. We're going to do introductions just so you know who everybody is who's presenting to you today. We'll go through the problem very briefly. I think you're all very aware of it, but we'll just recapture it. And then we're going to talk about the solutions. So the 4 solutions we want to talk to you today about in terms of running your studio like a pro are: how do you run better communications so you drive more members and you have less manual work? And that'll be Katie from Loyalsnap. We're going to talk about hiring and how AI is playing a role in hiring. And we know that AI is helping candidates apply, and that's creating volume. But what's on the other side of that? How can technology actually help the hiring manager? And so we'll talk about modern tech that improves recruitment. We're going to talk a lot about the staff experience and how you automate staff operations from subbing to communications with your staff. And then we're going to talk about payroll. And like Katie mentioned, you might not be aware, but there's a lot of time and effort that goes into manually running payroll, and there's plenty of hours that can be saved there. And then we'll get into a Q&A. If anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And at the end, we'll go through your questions. I don't think we'll be able to take questions live, but we should have time at the end for all of those. Okay, thank you for that. Right, so the speakers. Everybody on the panel today brings a different perspective. Everybody has strong experience in boutique fitness. I'll just run you through at a very high level who they are. So first of all, we've got Katie Kaufman. She knows the boutique fitness world inside out. She's got 13 plus years of fitness industry experience and serves as the Chief Operating Officer at Loyalsnap, a CRM and marketing platform that helps studios and gyms improve lead conversion and member retention through effective communication and automation. Next up, we're going to hear from Eric. Eric is also a Chief Operating Officer. He's at CandidateView. He partners with studio and gym brands like Pure Barre and UFC Gym, helping those owners and managers hire smarter so they can feel confident they're bringing the right talent. Then it's going to be Danny, my colleague, Danny Orlick. He's the co-founder and CEO of NetGym. It's a staff experience platform built to streamline sub-management and communication. NetGym works with over 2,500 locations across 8 different countries. And Danny draws from his background as a top cycling instructor and tech sales leader. Danny and his wife Danielle created NetGym to help studios scale more efficiently while keeping their instructors empowered and their members happy. And wrapping us up and closing it out will be Scott. Scott is the founder of PayWell. Scott comes from a family of studio owners, so he lives and breathes what you guys do day in, day out. He saw firsthand how frustrating and time-consuming payroll could be, and he's been leveraging his background in software development to help studio owners. And Scott built a tool to automate boutique fitness payroll, helping owners pay their teams accurately, stay compliant, and run payroll effortlessly. Today, PayWell works with hundreds of studios, including Club Pilates and Stretch Lab. So those are the intros. Those are your speakers, and they are going to be good. I promise you. Okay, so we're all here because the work never stops. Literally never stops. And so an infinity loop seemed like the best way of visualizing your work. We don't want you to be on a hamster wheel. We want this infinity loop to run smoothly. So whether you're hiring new instructors or you're onboarding staff, you're running payroll ops, or you're trying to keep your members happy and coming back, all of this connects into your work. And right at the center of it, of course, is you. We don't want you to be spinning your wheels. We want you to keep this loop running without burning out. And so from the panel I've introduced, you're going to hear 4 different perspectives, each tackling a different slice of the loop, all aimed at one shared goal, helping you work smarter, not harder. We don't want you to have to hustle all the time. We really want you to find a way to combine your passion with your work and for your passion to be profitable. Okay, so I'm going to take us into our first speaker, and that's Katie.
Thanks, Patrick. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining today. I'm Katie Kaufman. I'm the COO at Loyalsnap. I've been here for 5.5 years, but I've been in this industry for over 13 years now. And I started off actually in studio, growing and scaling Mark Fisher Fitness in New York City. So I really do understand the operational challenges of running a fitness business. And I'm really excited to share some info with you today that can help. So let's dive in. So let's be honest with ourselves. When you're running the front desk, you're coaching classes, you're managing staff, there's just no way you can personally follow up with every single lead or member. But here's the hard truth. Responding to a lead within 5 minutes of them giving you their information can boost conversion by over 900%. And nearly every sale in this industry does require more than one touch point, oftentimes upwards of 10 or more, yet almost half of salespeople stop after just one touch point. We don't lose leads or members because we don't care, right? We lose them because the day gets busy, people are in front of you asking for things. We just can't do it all manually. And that's where operational excellence comes in. You're creating systems that support your growth, even when you're not the one personally watching every single message go out. So let's talk automating the member life cycle. So this is where we shift from reactive to proactive. And I want you to think about your member journey in stages. First, from when they're a lead and they express interest and submit their information, to them buying an intro offer, which most boutique fitness studios do have, to becoming a full paying member on an auto pay subscription, and then eventually, even if they do leave, bringing them back with a win back offer. So this here on the right, this is just one example of how we think about this with our clients at Loyalsnap. So this is demonstrating the flow for what happens when a lead purchases a trial, what happens if they miss their first class, what happens when they take their first class but don't schedule a second class, what happens when their trial is going to expire and they haven't made another purchase yet, and so on. There are so many branches in these flows, and there's simply no effective way for someone to manually keep track of all of this and actually complete the follow-up for every single customer in every single stage. And this is a core part of what we do at Loyalsnap. So we recommend and set up these automated flows for our clients, in addition to automating a dashboard for even more personalized outreach for those most important moments in the customer journey and in the customer's decision making when you want the outreach to be super high touch. So here's where your first bit of homework comes in. I want you to sketch out this whole journey for your customers and your business. So for each of these stages, I want you to think about what messages should somebody receive that will enhance their experience, make them feel valued and seen and really like a part of your community. When should they hear from you? How often should they hear from you? And then taking it to the next level, how can we make that happen automatically? So whether it's a text after their first visit or a check-in if they haven't shown up for 10 days, automating these steps ensures that no one falls through the cracks and your experience really stays consistent no matter who on your team is actually available or working. Next slide, please. Thanks. Now let's talk about what we're actually sending. So texting is incredibly effective. It has a 98% open rate. Most texts are read within the first 3 minutes. But if the message sounds like a robot or like some generic ad, it likely will not land the way that you want. So one simple example is your very first text. A lot of people have a text that might say, "Hey Patrick, it's Katie from Loyalsnap Pilates. Thanks for your interest. Do you know about our membership options?" Or it might say, "Can I get you signed up for a class tomorrow?" Instead of this, change your message and use client-centric messaging. Here's a way that we can do that, and one that we really love. "Hey, it's Katie from Loyalsnap Pilates. We're so excited to meet you. Have you ever tried Pilates before?" It's super conversational, low pressure. It actually invites a response. And we've made this change with a lot of different studios. One in particular saw their response rate jump up to 80% for the first text, just from this one tiny small change. Now, both text and email do have a role in your communication strategy, but they serve very different purposes. So let's break this down. You can use text or SMS when you need immediacy, right? We talked about text are usually read within 3 minutes. It's perfect for a time-sensitive update, a quick nudge about something. Also, high engagement with that 98% open rate. SMS is unbeatable for getting eyes on your message. And then again, for that kind of one-to-one feel, a text feels more personal. It's great for a message like, "Hey, we missed you in class today. Is everything okay?" Or, "Hey, I noticed you crushed 3 classes this week. Let's get you to your target of 4." And this can include things like behavioral triggers, meaning triggers when a trigger will send out a text when somebody no-shows, hits a milestone, becomes inactive, something like that. And these timely check-ins feel really thoughtful and personal. Also great for a quick prompt or a question, a simple call to action. "Are you still interested in trying us out? Do you need help booking your first session?" Um, Now, you use email, on the other hand, when you need space for more detail and explanation, right? So anything that takes longer than a few lines, like explaining a membership tier or a pricing change or a studio update, you really want to keep that to an email. And that includes things like promotional content, upcoming workshops, events, new class announcements, if you're running some sort of win back or referral campaign. Email's also ideal if you want a really polished design. You have so much control over what that messaging looks like. You can send out weekly emails or newsletters, like really keeping your brand top of mind, even if the member hasn't visited lately. Now, for best results, you should combine both. And here's a pro move. Use SMS to prompt an action and email to support it. So, for example, did you see the info about the special class on Friday? I think you would really love it. And then you would email with the full details, the RSVP button, the instructor highlight, things like that. Now, moving on to using smart triggers. So this is where automation gets really powerful by responding to real client behavior. So imagine a member no-shows a class and they get a text check-in. Someone takes 3 classes in a row, they get a high five message and a referral nudge automatically. These triggers can keep members engaged without you having to keep track or remember anything. That's the most important piece. And you can also add little fun touches too. You can send over gifts, you can send birthday messages, reminders to refer a friend or leave a review. And all of these things can really build community, but at scale, which is hard to do. And when it feels personalized, people stay connected. Even if it's automated, it still feels like it's coming from you. So let's go continuing on. Why do we care about this, right? Why do we care about automating or, sending out these messages on a regular cadence? So let's take a step back. We say this a lot at Loyalsnap. Most people don't open a fitness studio because they love sales and marketing, right? We do it to build something meaningful, to build a space where people feel stronger and healthier and more connected. So when you're bogged down in manual follow-ups and spreadsheets and sticky notes, you are directly pulled away from that mission. But when your systems are supporting you and they run efficiently, your team gets to focus on what actually matters, building relationships, delivering amazing classes, and growing the culture and the community in your studio. Operational excellence will free you to lead with passion and not exhaustion. So I would challenge you after this webinar to take at least one message that is a really important touch point for your members specifically and figure out how to automate it. And of course, Loyalsnap is always here to help. I'm always here to help. So please feel free to reach out if there's any way we can help you. So now that you've built these great systems and you're making lots of money, you have to make sure you have people in place to actually run them, right? So I'm going to pass things off to Eric from CandidateView, who will tell you how to get those people.
Thanks, Katie. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Great to be here with you. I'm Eric Sanchez, COO of CandidateView. Today, I want to talk about a smarter, more scalable way to hire. One that supports your growth, protects your time, and ensures you're bringing in the right people to represent your brand. If you've ever felt buried in resumes or spent too much time chasing down phone screens, you're not alone. That's exactly why we built the platform. CandidateView, it's a pre-screening video tool that helps busy owners and managers make faster, smarter hiring decisions. Instead of spending hours reviewing resumes and scheduling calls, you send a short set of pre-recorded questions and candidates respond on their own time. So you can quickly zero in on the ones who are the best fit. We're proud to support several exponential fitness brands, UFC gym, and wellness partners like EarthBar. They operate inside select Equinox locations nationwide. We also work with high-touch industries, including restaurants, retail, and hospitality, anywhere where frontline teams shape the customer experience. We all know how important hiring is, especially in people-powered environments like yours. Whether it's front desk, instructors, or leadership, these team members define your member experience. They drive retention and they influence your studio's environment every day. But when you're wearing 10 different hats, it's hard to find the time or the right tools to hire the way you really want to. That's why today we're talking about how to hire smart and move faster without cutting corners or compromising quality, because modern hiring isn't about removing the human element. It's about making sure your time is focused on the right people and the ones who align with your studio, your energy, and your goals. And that's what scalable hiring really means. When your hiring process is built to grow with you, it saves time. It protects your team dynamic and it ensures every hire you bring something valuable to the table. So now let's take a quick look at what makes hiring so challenging right now, and then we'll talk about how to turn it into a true advantage. Recent reports show that 62% of studio owners say hiring and keeping staff is a major challenge. The reality is, even when you're posting jobs on the right platforms, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the flood of applicants, many of whom aren't the right fit. Job boards bring a lot of candidates, but understanding how to use them effectively to your advantage is key. You end up chasing candidates who either don't show up or disappear after initial contact, wasting valuable hours. Resumes, they can't capture the personality, the energy, and team fit that's so important to your studio's success. When hires are rushed just to fill a role, turnover rises, it hurts member retention and your revenue. That's exactly what we're here to help fix. Now let's talk about what hiring can look like and where things are heading. Video pre-screening is becoming the smart, faster way forward, especially in people-facing industries like yours, where presence, energy, and communication are everything. You showcase your studio's vibe up front in your welcome video, giving candidates a real sense of your studio environment from the start. It goes beyond what's on paper by evaluating passion, energy, and presence through a series of video questions. You get a clear picture early on. Candidates, they have the flexibility to record on their own schedule, and you review videos when it fits your day. You don't have to worry about playing phone tag or scheduling headaches. Your whole team can share visibility into candidate responses, making alignment so much easier. And by engaging serious candidates only, you cut down on ghosting and turnover. Now, here's how you actually put this into action. Setup is simple but powerful, and it can be implemented quickly with the right approach. First, you record a quick welcome video. Doesn't need to be professionally produced. In fact, it's better when it's real and authentic. You introduce yourself, show a bit of your studio, and explain what you're looking for in a team member. The personal touch helps attract the right candidates. If being on camera isn't your thing or you're short on time, you don't need to worry about it. We also offer an AI-powered option where you can simply provide a script and our technology will create a professional-looking video with a virtual presenter for you. This way, you can still get that warm, consistent introduction without needing to film it yourself. Then the next thing, you're going to choose 5 to 7 screening questions designed to uncover personality, communication style, and values, not just someone's qualifications. Example of questions can include what makes you help members achieve their fitness goals? How do you spark energy in a class? How would you welcome a new member who's never taken a class before? Once your interview flow is ready, you share your CandidateView link through job boards, social media, email, anywhere you reach candidates. Candidates record their responses on their own time, and those videos are organized for you in your dashboard. No more chasing schedules or dealing with no-shows. You review videos when it fits your schedule, and you immediately shortlist the ones who stand out. By the time you invite someone in for that interview, all the basic questions are answered. That means you get to spend your in-person time really figuring out who's the best fit for your culture and your team. It's a better experience for everyone and leads to stronger, faster hires. Let's look at how this process fits into your daily workflow and the real impact it can have. Reviewing candidate videos take just minutes each week, saving you hours compared to traditional phone screens or chasing no-shows. Seeing that passion, that person's personality, and cultural fit up front makes it easier to identify who will strive in your studio environment. Your whole team can stay aligned by sharing video access, which speeds up decision-making and builds confidence. You can focus your energy on advancing candidates who complete the video process and show they're a strong match. The results, they speak for themselves. We have studio owners who have filled key roles within 24 hours, while others have shortened staffing time by 2 weeks or more. The efficiency saves time, it reduces turnover, and it helps maintain a strong team, protecting your member experience. It's simply a smarter, faster, and precise way to hire. Now, to wrap up, video pre-screening empowers you to hire smarter and build a stronger team. By starting this process, you streamline hiring, save valuable time, and focus only on candidates who truly, again, fit your culture. This means building a team that drives member retention and loyalty. They're key to your studio's growth and success. Plus, with a modern hiring process that reflects your studio vibe, it helps attract top talent before they even step through your door. At the end of the day, it's about keeping people at the heart of hiring while using technology to support and simplify the process. That's the future of hiring. Thanks again for your time today. Now I'm going to hand it over to Danny from NetGym, who's going to show you how to simplify and automate your staffing operations so your team can focus on what really matters most.
Thanks, Eric. Hey everyone, I am Danny Orlick, co-founder and CEO of NetGym, where we're helping 2,600 locations promote accountability, protect class experiences, and give them their time back. So far today, you've heard from Loyalsnap, helps you get more leads, how CandidateView is going to help you hire smart and fast. Let's talk about what happens after you've got that roster on board and they all decide to call out the same week heading into these summer months. Now, before I started NetGym, I was living this chaos. I was a spin instructor teaching at 3 studios while juggling a full-time enterprise software sales job. Had me flying around the country. Every time I needed coverage, it was like basically launching a NASA mission. I mean, from emails, group meetings, WhatsApps, heck, basically carrier pigeons from Game of Thrones just to try to get coverage. Every studio I taught at had a different policy, different tools, and different levels of panic and anxiety. That's why I realized that if instructors like me were overwhelmed, owners and managers like you guys had it 10 times worse. That's why I built NetGym to eliminate the chaos and headaches and give you guys your sanity back. So let's be honest. As Katie said earlier, none of us got into this fitness sort of business to chase, I would say, or quarterback, basically, all the different staff running around and try to make sure the schedules are all right, chasing sub requests, read receipts, CPR docs, you name it. We did it to build community, transform lives, and move with purpose. Somewhere along the way, staff ops became the biggest pain in our business, and today I'm going to walk you through how we could simplify it all in 6 steps. Right now, owners, GMs, and lead instructors are spending hours managing subs and instructor communication manually. Okay, there's no direct way to sync your instructor schedules into a place where they can easily find coverage, streamline communication, send automated reminders to subs, nor make automatic teacher swaps with the booking system that you guys are all using. This can lead to canceled classes or no-shows, frustrated or resentful lead instructors and GMs, and negative employee sentiment. It's costing you time, energy, and ultimately money. The old way of managing the team often involves a mix of mass emails, group text, spreadsheets, and various chat apps, or maybe even some shift management apps that you guys are using, like When I Work, Deputy, Sling, all resulting in a lack of policy compliance, wasted time, frustrated staff, and poor member experiences. Now imagine the new reality. Subbing streamline, policies are consistent, schedule basically runs itself, where your team communicates in one place, class coverage just happens, without you being in the middle of it. So let me share these 6 steps on how you can make that a reality. First step here, you got to define and digitize your subbing policies, okay? When I was teaching years ago, I had one gym send me a PDF upon hiring, one studio whose ops manager would send occasional reminders on sub policies via email when we weren't adhering to them, and another who just told me what the policy was in person when they hired me. So here I was at 3 different studios trying to remember sub policies while I was crushing my corporate day job in software sales. You got to digitize and integrate your policy with your core scheduling platform to ensure that your policy is automatically adopted and followed. This is going to help you hold your instructors and staff accountable and have the information needed during performance reviews. Next up, it's critical that your team is sending and receiving targeted communication and subbing based on location, format, and availability. I had one employer with Google spreadsheets, another one with an email distribution list that was frequently outdated, and another that was mass email, mass text, and WhatsApp groups, resulting in a frustrated team and unequal opportunities. So instead, you got to figure out how you can automatically send targeted sub requests based on what and where they're eligible to teach and make it consistent and easy to use. This will lead to a better employee experience, fast and reliable coverage, and time savings. Step 3, make sure that you're consolidating all your sub requests and the staff communication to one simple schedule and view so you can see all the activity across the different locations. Right? This will allow management to spend more time on the job they love, which includes nurturing and developing high-quality instructors, ensuring high-class performance and attendance, and promoting brand and driving community. Step 4, we have your approval process, ensuring that there's automated schedule updates. And no matter what your process is, once the sub's confirmed, you got to use automation to simultaneously notify the internal parties and update your live schedule so your members can see who's covering. Don't want your members showing up to a class to see their favorite teacher is not there. You will see significant time savings and improvement in both employee and member experiences. Next up, now that the sub has been found, you got to make sure you have automated reminders and notifications to eliminate the risk of that sub not showing up. Lastly, most critical here, analyzing all that subbing behavior and their responsiveness all in one dashboard. Right? This is going to help you provide consistent evaluations with your team, their performance reviews, reward their participation, and make necessary permanent schedule changes if needed. Okay. Pro tip number 2. Okay. Think of your team like a class. They're confused, distracted, not going to perform. Same goes for communication. If your updates are buried in 10 different channels, WhatsApps, GroupMe's, they're going to get ignored. Keep it simple, one channel, one place, one playbook. The disparate channels they're all using, and some of you guys may be using these today. Hopefully not, because you guys are all probably working with us in some capacity. It's leading to wasted time and money. Right? You got lost or unread communication across these different channels, outdated communication, outdated contact information. You got noise and negative sentiment amongst staff. So instead, be intentional. Have one channel for all team updates. Ability to possibly control replies within those chats and messaging apps. Subgroups for different roles. Read receipts so you're not guessing who's wondering or wondering who saw it. And consistency where you can put your links and resources, docs, videos all in one place every single time. So by centralizing all that communication in one place with intention, that also includes the key metrics through views and acknowledgements, it will lead to happier staff and significant time savings for you guys. Okay. Last tip here, some of you may already be tracking CPR and other certs inside of a large payroll or HR system. Gusto, Paycom, Velocity, some of our big customers are using like the UKGs of the world, AltiPro. However, it's rare. Of the 2,600 locations that we work with, the overwhelming majority have been stuck in spreadsheets, Google Drive, email, Dropbox when it comes to collecting and storing this information. And some that I've recently spoken with in the past few months are like, we don't do it. You can't scale your ops if you're chasing down CPR certs or guessing who's insured. You got to have all your docs in one place, set auto reminders for the expirations, and never lose sleep wondering if your business is covered. And here's why it's important. Okay. Think about the business risk should something happen to one of your members. Last summer, a customer of ours experienced this firsthand. Member was okay, cardiac arrest, but the instructor's CPR cert was expired, exposing the business to huge financial risk. That kind of prompted us to help them. And this is what it's going to look like in action, right? You need to have a live database of all certs and qualifications, built-in reminders before anything expires. Make sure all your instructors have up-to-date certs when they're teaching, because that way you'll now have instant visibility across the business. And it isn't just admin, it's risk reduction here. It's peace of mind. And here's the truth. Subbing, comms is just the tip of the iceberg. When you automate and streamline subbing, docs, availability, communication all in one place, you're going to win back time, control, and trust. Bridget, owner of Barcode, just recently said that if studios knew everything about this platform, they'd sprint to sign up. And now that you've hired this team, enabled them with the communication tools, it's crucial to ensure that you're paying them on time with minimal effort from your end. So allow me to pass the baton to my man, Scott Smith at PayWell.
Awesome. Much appreciated, Danny. Hi, all. I'm Scott. I'm the founder of PayWell. I am a software developer, and fun enough, for the past 5 years, I've been obsessed with just about one thing, and that's boutique fitness payroll. I know it's super fun. I built PayWell as a software tool to sit between your studio management system and your payroll processor. So effectively automating your entire payroll process from sessions to clock-ins and overtime to sales commission. So over the next 7 minutes, I want to touch on some actionable and tangible ways to improve your payroll process. Now, these insights have been derived from conversations with hundreds of studio owners and spending thousands of hours working through payroll nuances. So, awesome. So at a high level, here's what I'll be touching on. Technology, the payroll processor, and using the right payroll processor for your business structure is critical. I'm going to talk about staff compensation, posing a couple questions for you in regards to aligning your employee pay with your studio goals and performance. I'll also talk about retention, so building that employee trust and loyalty through a transparent payroll process. And then right after that, I'll talk about automation, what I love the most. So simplifying, streamlining, and keeping your future self in mind when you do it. So let's jump right in. Awesome. So as you know, choosing the right technology can set your studio up for long-term success. When it comes to payroll, the single most important decision is which payroll processor you use. Experiences vary widely from across user to user when using these payroll processors. But I have two high-level objective takeaways with this. Number one, if you do not need a whole lot of support and you have a relatively straightforward payroll process, go with Gusto. In working with over 20 different payroll processors, I found Gusto to be the most user-friendly and the most intuitive payroll system. Number two, if hands-on support matters to you, which I know for a lot of my users it does, don't overlook local and regional payroll processors. They often deliver the same core features as the big platforms, but with far better experience. Now, here's one universal truth everybody can take away from today. Almost all payroll processors allow you to drop in a file rather than manually keying in data. This is huge. So this one change here, uploading a clean Excel file into your payroll processor, it's one of the easiest ways that you can not only prevent user input errors, but save hours every single month. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly with all payroll processors. Pretty much all of them out there. If you're thinking of switching, or if you want to rethink how your setup, feel free to reach out. Number two, talking about staff compensation. So staff compensation, as I'm sure you know, should reflect the goals of your studios, but there's this ongoing tension between cutting payroll costs and managing them and incentivizing your team. So I have a couple questions that are worth considering. Maybe you've thought of, maybe you're already implementing, maybe you're not. So we can jump right in with those. My first question, and I get this all the time, is offering sales commission on low margin items like retail helping with staff retention, or is it just eating into your bottom line? Number two, does a per attendee class bonus truly motivate performance for instructors, or does it end up penalizing those instructors who are teaching off-peak hours? Number three, this is an interesting one. Could paying sales commission for downgraded memberships help to slow attrition and deepen your staff and client engagement? Number four, could scheduling headaches not only be reduced by using tools like NetGym, as previously mentioned, but also by offering bonuses for less desirable shifts? Now, there's really no one size fits all answer to any of these questions, but we do have these conversations every day. You know, we've seen what works, we've seen what doesn't across more than 600 studios, so happy to talk through this if interested. Number three is employee retention. So the fact of the matter really is that transparency and trust are the foundation of employee retention. And really, payroll is the clearest place here that you could build that trust. It starts with super small things, kind of simple steps like breaking out pay items into more meaningful categories. For example, instead of using the word commission, you could separate that out into membership commission and retail commission. Rather than using maybe a generic class pay term, consider more defined categories like group class pay, private session pay, so on. Now, these distinctions, they might seem super minor, but they really do go a long way in helping employees understand how exactly they're being paid. Now, the next step here, and yes, this can be a lift at first, is providing a detailed breakdown to each employee every pay period of what they earned, and that's including sales, sessions, and shifts. This builds confidence, this removes confusion, and it really ensures that your team knows they're getting paid accurately every single time. And again, it's an upfront investment, but really one that pays off. A lot of the fastest growing and more organized studios and companies I'm working with right now tend to employ this strategy. Finally, this is my favorite one. I want to talk about automation. And my one point with this would be when in doubt, choose the payroll structure that's easiest for you to maintain. Payroll never ends. The last thing you want is to miss a payroll deadline because of a personal emergency or because of a technical failure. I have a short experience I'll kind of run through right now. And effectively, last year, I was working with one of my clients, and unfortunately, he got in a pretty serious car accident. It left him hospitalized and unable to use his computer. Now, thankfully, the year prior, we had gone through and we had set up his ADP pay structure to be a lot more clean and intuitive. We built what I mentioned prior, that import file that you could just drop into ADP. And then we automated some key parts of his process that he was spending a lot of time on. So because of this, the day it happened, I was on the phone with his son who knew absolutely nothing about payroll at all, nothing about the business. And we were able to complete payroll in under 30 minutes with zero delays to any of his employees' pay. Remember, payroll never ends. Simplify what you can, automate what you can, and have a backup plan. Now, if there's one thing or one point to take from all this, what it really would be is the systems you build today are the ones that you'll rely on tomorrow. Investing a little now will save you time in perpetuity. If you want to see how PayWell can help automate your entire payroll process, including everything that we just talked about, or simply just want to talk payroll, again, that's all I think about, that's all I do. Please reach out to me. Right now, we're currently helping studios running on ClubReady and Mariana Tech, and we're actively looking for other studios to pilot across MindBody and other studio management systems. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll hand it back to Patrick here.
Patrick, you're on mute.
Sorry, there was some background noise a moment ago. It's trash collection day here. All right, so we've come full circle back to the infinity loop. You've just heard from Danny, Katie, Scott, and Eric. Fast-paced, 10 minutes, very in-depth. I think we've got through a lot of different content there. It's different ways to make your day-to-day smoother and your team happier. I'm going to guess that some people here have got some questions for us. We've got 15 minutes or so to run through questions. If you want to put them in the Q&A, that'd be awesome. If you can't find the Q&A, let us know. We're here ready to answer your questions. Okay, I'll throw one out to Scott. Scott, when you first start working with a studio or a gym, what does their payroll look like? How are they actually doing it? So that people can think about just the process from what they've done to now to what they need to do in the future.
It's a great question. When I start working with owners of studios, it usually looks like them going into their studio management system, pulling down between 1 and 10 files for each of their locations, having some Excel macro lookups to kind of consolidate that information and compare it against pay rates, and then getting an output that's specific to them to manually kind of punch into their payroll processor. And so what we do, we'll get that for you. We'll go in based on all your setup, we'll spit out the output that's ready to go and be dropped directly into your payroll processor, whichever one that may be.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, and some questions are coming through. I'm going to, just because Scott was just speaking, take Heather's question first. So I'm going to answer that live for you all. Does CandidateView locate potential staff or just, sorry, it's not Scott, sorry, Eric, you. Does CandidateView locate potential staff or just help you preview them? My issue is finding people.
Good question, Heather. So we are not a recruiter. We do the video pre-screening. So you would still be recruiting or finding those candidates on your own. We do not assist in that process.
One thing I'd offer for Heather, and Heather will pull your email address from the registration. So because NetGym does a lot of work in the onboarding and the staff communication, and we know that talent is so important, we actually just published a guide on hiring and retaining great staff. And so we'll send you a copy of that guide after this, which has got some great answers in terms of how to do it. Let's go on to another question. There was a quick question about cost. I don't know if the panel want to just quickly answer that right now. We want to follow up on when we send the deck out.
I'll even just take that. I think yes, for now it's probably engaging each vendor, but I think you bring up a good idea, Caitlin. Obviously everybody wants to consolidate tools, but when we kind of think about best of breed of, these 4 vendors here, what we do versus the scheduling and booking systems themselves, I think it brings up a great idea. This is why I kind of helped organize everyone here today when we were all at the same conference, realizing that, we're really good at what we do specifically. We should probably have this webinar. Maybe we take that up, Katie.
Okay. So Danny, back to you. With NetGym, do you have a gauge on how long it takes everyone to adopt or get going on the system? How long is setup time?
Depending on the scheduling system that they're in, could be anywhere from a few hours or immediately. But in reality, our customers go live anywhere from 2 days to 14 days. It's depending on what they want to do with their instructors, as far as the communication, but we handhold them throughout. I was just on with one of our customers, Bridget, a couple weeks ago. I think she might even be in this webinar. They went live in 48 hours, right? So it's just kind of all dependent on the business and the brand of how quickly they want to move.
Thanks. Danny, while you're still got your mic open, can NetGym manage customer service subbing? We use MindBody and use the appointment functionality to schedule our front desk schedule. Any ideas for that?
How's it going, Leonard? Good to read your question. I won't say hear your voice. We don't do anything with appointments yet. We will have our own employee scheduling system, so you could potentially take out the need to put it in as appointments inside of MindBody and directly input the employee schedules, the customer service schedule into NetGym, probably late Q3 of this year. Otherwise, our customers right now are putting private classes called front desk and then using NetGym for that.
Okay, so I'm going to read out this question. It's a little longer. It refers to franchise business. I know everybody on the call, all the panel works with franchise businesses. So maybe we can try to answer it from a couple of different perspectives. All of these make sense, but if you're a franchise business and using Club Ready, do the fees on these services become extra expenses we just can't afford? And we feel like why it's not included already in our offering from franchise or. So it's a lot in there to unpack. Maybe one of you would like to offer a few thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in here. I think a lot of us are, we've seen the gaps that fitness businesses experience where the booking platform is really great for doing specific things. And everything that you heard about today is also really niche. So I think it would be great if there was one, one system that really did everything and we all came together and made one super system. But for now, everything is very niche and very specific so that we can all ensure that we are really experts on the topic that is within our scope, if that makes sense. And sometimes, depending on the brand, they might have a tech fee or something like that, that systems like all of ours may or may not be included in. I think we even have some friends from Club Ready on this webinar right now. So, certainly talk to your franchisor or your booking platform about that. But yeah, I think in general, it's really about making sure that we can be absolute experts in our specific topic.
Okay. Danny answered Caitlin's question live. Question from
But
Zach.
yeah, and just in case anyone didn't see that, just as far as instructors, can instructors adopt NetGym pretty quickly? Answer is yes. Obviously, there's going to be a few that are just so resistant, but that's how it always is with change management, right? Getting them out of their ways. And yeah, feel free to reach out. We'll share information from our customers and things like that, just on that experience with the adoption.
Question for the Loyalsnap team, Katie. For Loyalsnap, do you guys help with the setup, or do you have advice on the automations?
Yeah, we actually we provide best practices. So we would provide you with all of the content, all of the automations already set up and customized specifically to your studio. You can always go in and make adjustments if you choose. But we know it can be really overwhelming to see a brand new system with a bunch of empty templates and have to sit there and come up with content for, 100 different templates. So we help you out with all of that. It's very white glove at Loyalsnap, so we take care of it for you.
Thanks, Katie. And Katie, who are like some great examples of clients of yours, both at the enterprise level, at maybe the mid-size, and then the classic independent 1, 2, 3 location that everyone might have heard of?
Yeah, we do work with quite a few large brands. We work with about 1,000 F45 locations all across the world. Right now, Loyalsnap is in over 40 different countries. I want to say 43. But we work with a lot of F45s. We work with a lot of exponential studios. We work with Club Pilates, Yoga 6, quite a few stretch labs as of late. Rumble, we work with 9 round, not exponential. Brands, but Bar 3, lots of different franchise brands and models. And then in the mid-tier, we work with Live Meta. They're one of our great clients we love. They're growing and doing really great things. Training Mate, we have a few of those mid-tiers that are really just spectacular to work with, and we love working with them and seeing them take off.
Right. Eric, I wonder if you could just give us like a real life example for when you mentioned a couple of clients in the intro. So just talk us through what it was like getting those video applications versus a resume. I mean, obviously there's still a follow-up where someone's got to meet them live. They're probably going to get them to do a rehearsal, or like the instructor is going to come in and show like how good they are. But what did you see in the videos you got in for your gym clients?
So the biggest thing is seeing people's passion. And I want to take a little step back, Patrick. The biggest eye opener for our clients is explaining how the current process works with candidate acquisition. What I mean by that is how the job boards work. Your Indeed, your ZipRecruiters, essentially what it is, they're a database of resumes, and they use your geolocation. So where your gym, where your fitness studio is located, it goes to their database and it matches up people in the area that are looking for a job. So many times you're going to get inundated with applicants with quote unquote resumes that people aren't even genuinely interested. But with CandidateView, we are sifting through all that noise, and really the candidates that just complete the video interviews, they're genuinely interested. So by you doing that intro video, talking about what you're looking for, culture, what makes a successful, fitness instructor, etc., engaging and really selling your brand, your location, your gym, why you opened your gym to that applicant, just gives so much more of a connection. Then they provide their feedback, their answers to those typical questions. So now you learn so much more about that applicant before they come in, sit down with you, or you talk to them over the phone in that first um, uh, interview. Now, seeing those videos, we've had numerous clients say, I'm never going back to resumes again. And by all means, I want you to understand, you still have the resume. You always have the resume. But now you have so much more visibility into that applicant.
Thanks. Just want to call out to everyone who's still listening in. If you've got any more questions and you would like to post them, please feel free to do that. I don't see any more open questions at the moment. I've got on the screen right now everyone's email address, so you can personally reach out to them if you would like to. I know everyone's got a great website. It's got more information. Okay, new anonymous attendee. I was intrigued by the dashboard in NetGym that tracked, I believe, responsiveness. It's hard to keep track of who's really in the game, and I would love to see what that looks like. Danny.
Reach out to us. We'll show you everything live. And I think we might actually be on our website, but yeah, that's exactly what we do. We're pulling in all the metrics around not just bad behavior, but who's being a team player. But it's not even just who subs in the most. But if you think about it, depending on what your approval permissions are in our system, we're also tracking acceptances and declines, because at the end of the day, what's the response rate for the team? It was kind of funny. About 6 months ago, I was on with a customer. We were looking at all their response rates. Somebody had a 98% response rate, 160 invites. All of the responses were declines. So it was one of those things where, like, it's great that it sucks that, they're not helping out and covering other people, but they are declining. It's one less person you're possibly going after in those cases of escalations. So it was a kind of a tricky one on how it made that owner feel. But at the end of the day, it's better than someone who's not responding. So all that stuff's there. And then we just started with Mariana Tech doing sub out rates. So basically taking a look at all the permanent schedules that your instructors have and how often they're subbing out as a percentage, like a sub in to sub out. So it's pretty neat there. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Last call for questions. Otherwise, give everybody 5 minutes back in the spirit of saving time for people in their day. And leave it open for 10 more seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everybody, for joining, listening in. We'll send out the deck to everybody who registered and a copy of the webinar. Really appreciate your time. Thanks again.